Likutei Moharan, Torah Lamed. So we put down the principle that when the Rebbe is really, we're holding my Sefer Gimel. So we're holding that, we said that a really, really great Rebbe, great teacher, he can constrict and cloak and be malbish a very, very high and sophisticated understanding of divine comprehensions, understanding the lakus, sagas lakus, to put it into a sechel tachta, into a lower sechel. That enables the smaller people that have a lower intellect also to attain and to understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu according to their madrega. And we will explain what is this inyan of Sechel Elyon and Sechel Tachton of this, the higher Sechel and the lower Sechel. This is would you mind closing up the window? I'm sorry. It's for the benefit of future generations.
50 years from now.
What?
50 years from now.
50, 100, whatever. You don't have to hear the whining of the blade over there. Sorry, I'm just trying to set myself straight over here. Okay. Before we delve into the mechanism of how it works, how a lower seichel enables you to, how the top seichel is it's able to reflect it in the lower seichel. It's just an understanding that I want to emphasize a certain basic understanding which is important to realize. In Torah Aleph it says that the Seichel is a tremendously bright light. And he can't grasp it and understanding by looking at it any more than you can grasp and look at the sun. Mm-hmm. You don't see anything. And the Rebbe says over there, it has to be the higher seichel has to be constricted in a lower seichel, and then you can get it. Torah Aleph, the higher seichel is called the Chochmah. This is the Ches, the letter Ches. The lower seichel is the Malchus. It's called the Nun over there. And that's the Emunah. And when the lower seichel is completed, when the Emunah is complete, it's the way it's supposed to be, the light of the Chochmah shines into it automatically. Which means the way to understand the high Chochmah is not by pursuing sophisticated and high limudim. That's not what it's for. The way to do it is but to work on the Emunah. Working in the Emunah while learning Torah builds the Malchus. When the Malchus is the way it's supposed to be, the Chochmah will be reflected in it by itself. But it's more than just it will be reflected by itself. It will be reflected in the right way. Rebbe says that when a person is zoche to the Malchus properly, he says that's the Seichel is, the Seichel Elyon, the Chochmah is the sun, the Malchus is the Levana, is the moon, and when the moon is proper, it says that the light of the Levana will be equal to the light of the Chama, of the sun. Comes the question, what do you mean? The light of the moon is not going to be equal to the light of the sun. The sun is the source of the light. The moon just reflects the light. You know. So how can you say when the Malchus is proper, then Vaya Or Levana Ke'or Chama, then the light of the Levana is equal to the light of the Chama? How? But that is a lack of understanding of what Pshat Vaya Or Levana Ke'or Chama, and the light of the Levana will be like the light of the sun. It does not say, and the light of the Levana will be the light of the Chama. It'll say Ke. It'll be equal to, it will be like Oracham. The Pshat is that in your own level, when you're approaching the Chochmah with the Munah, the Chochmah, the constricted Chochmah that you get is true. You can't get the Chochmah at the highest level. But what you get now is an abridged version. It's a short version. It's a smaller version, but it's 100% true.
Okay.
Yes, you get the Seichel, but you get it true, which means you are walking along the way, and once you get better and better and better, you'll be able to understand deeper and deeper and deeper. But if the initial understanding is wrong, you'll never get the real Chochmah. Or if a crumb's the light. The problem is when you're trying to get the Chochmah at its source, you don't have the kelim for it. So you come up with these crazy ideas and conclusions. You don't get the light. The whole downfall of all the scientists and all this is because they want the light of the Chochmah without having the light of the Levana. With the light of the Emunah, the light of Ol Malchus Shemayim. You'll see when they take a child and they want to teach him how to play the violin. You don't start from Beethoven Concerto for Violin. You start with how you hold the violin, and how you hold the bow, and how you hold your hand, and you go,
A lot of noise.
Why don't you start with Beethoven?
Right.
Because before you have the kelim of how to produce a sound from the violin, and get down, the scales properly. There is the road to playing Beethoven.
Right.
That's
First
how you
step.
do it. And if you do it proper, you'll get to play Beethoven. What happens is you say, why do I have to hold the violin on the hand? I want to play with my legs, with my feet. You're going to tell me, no, it's my violin.
Right.
I pay for the I want to play with my feet. Can you? Yeah. I guess you can, but you never play Beethoven. You know, they have full, you know, these I don't know how many videos of people play really strange instruments. And they can play and they're able to play a Havana Gila. Okay, so you're able to play Havana Gila. So, but you want to play the Beethoven Violin Concerto, you have to go through each one of those steps is the establishing of the Malchus, establishing of the Caleb. When you get how to move the bow properly and how to hold your left hand and your right hand, that way, if you're good enough, eventually, you'll be able to play Beethoven. You can't play Beethoven without doing this. If you try the first thing you put on and try to play Beethoven, forget about it. You try to do it with your legs, forget about it. So in your Madrega, you're never able to actually, I mean, where you are right now, you're not able to grasp the light of the sun, the real Seichel. What you need to do is you need to get the Kalim. You need to get the Malchus. And as you get the Malchus, and you get it properly, and the way that you get it properly, I mean, is you believe, you trust your teacher, right? I mean, it's not fun, you know, 2 sort of hour and a half, like, okay? But you trust your teacher that he or she knows what they're telling you, that if you listen to them and you'll go through the steps, through the emotions, and you'll do it and you'll practice and whatever, that it will lead you to being able to play the Beethoven Violin Concerto. Eventually. Same thing over here. When you start with the Emunah, you have to start with the Emunah. The Emunah, you build Kalim. You build Kalim, you're able to get the light of the Chochmah eventually. If you say, I'm not interested in this, forget about it. I mean, this is beneath me. I mean, I want the real Chochmah. You won't get diddly. You go with nothing. But that's bichlal to understand the role of Sechel Eli and Sechel Tachton. The Sechel Tachton is only established through Emunah. You believe in your Rebbe that he knows what he's doing. You know, there was, I mean, years and years and years ago, there was I think in the 80s, 70s, 80s, I don't know, there was a movie about, a karate movie about a kid that gets beat up. There's a gazillion of them. Gets beat up, and he finds this Japanese meister, you know, that karate meister that teaches him. And what does he do? He tells him, he shows him the barn, and he says, gives him paint. He says, paint the barn. And the kid gets, I mean, what am I supposed to paint your barn? I mean, that came here to learn. I want to fight. He said, and he's painting. He says, no, you don't paint like that. You paint like this. The kid doesn't get later on that he will need in his studies to perfect this movement, that he needs that. And the way to do it is you start with faith in your teacher. And the teacher teaches you things that you think, oh, big deal. What's the connection? You know, it's like, what we used to say in America, Ma Kesher. Now, in this Inyan, in Sif Gimel, this Inyan, the Sechel Elyon, fits itself and is reflected in the Sechel Tachton. Ze B'chinas Sa'aros. This is the aspect of hair. That the illumination that the person is able to get in his mind, they come up to the hair and they radiate, you know, to the scalp, and it goes out through the hairs. Ken HaSechel Elyon, the very same way, the top Sechel, which is Asogas Elikus, which is divine perceptions, Umislabir B'Sechel Tachta. It dresses up, it squeezes into a Sechel Tachta. In other words, it is paired off to the bare essential, and only the bare essential principle is Mitav Sechel Tachta. So you understand what a principle is. We were able to explain that, it's like a mashal, and you realize what's the difference between the mashal and the nimshal. It's, you learn this principle over here, the principle over here, the principle with examples, and you get the main principle of what the Sechel Elyon is. We said about the Chesed and Rachamim and Tiferes. We said the opening a faucet. We give different examples of that principle in action, and that enable us to understand the basic overriding principle of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes. Giving, holding back, and judging how much to give and how much to block. But technically, the Rebbe here is touching on a far, far deeper inyan. This whole inyan of the radiation and the illumination of the Ha'oras HaSeichel in the hair is something which is totally opaque. How can a Sechel Elyon be Mislabish Sechel Tachtan? This is a total mystery. You can explain, okay, I get it, but Zeh B'chinas is what it says in the Zohar, Sara Ve'igula, that the hair surround the head, the scalp, in a circle. They call it balding pattern, right? It starts from here, it gets, or from here, but the hair surround the head, and there's even a swirl here, What this thing alludes to, B'chinas Sivuvim. In other words, these are the pre-emblems, the explanations that you prepare, which would prepare towards the understanding of what I really want to tell you. Obviously, I don't want to teach you about faucets, nor do I want to teach you about violins. I'm going to teach you the Slabshal Sechel Elyon V'Sechel Tachtan. But you won't get it unless we go through previous, foundations, laying down the foundations, the akdomas, through that enable you eventually to understand the Sechel Elyon. And this is because the hair represents Sechel Tachton, in which the Sechel Elyon gets clothed in. This is done through the process of a circulative process. You go around and around and around like an eagle. And the main thing is the ultimate thing that you want to explain, the Sechel Elyon. You get it through going around. If you notice, this is the process with which we are learning over here. We're going around and around. We're saying it again. We're saying it again. We're saying it again. And each time we're saying it, we get more comfortable with it. It becomes less foreign to us. Because first of all, we're so convinced that we'll never be able to get it, that when I open my mouth, you already yawn. I'm not be able to get it, forget about it, it's not for me. Why? Because all your life people tell you, you won't be able to get it, you're this, you're that, forget about it, it's not for you, blah, 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 blah. So in the beginning, you're not even open to listen, because your own perceptions about yourself, self-confidence, or whatever it is, doesn't even let you hear. So the first sivuvim, the first repetitions and going around, explaining this way, that way, this way, that way, a little bit comes in, like you go, you say like, I think I get it. and it makes you understand. Gives you the feeling that, I'm able to get it. Yeah, I don't know. I may be stupid, but I'm getting it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not. But I'm getting it. I know I'm getting it. Okay. And then you keep on hearing it, and you keep on getting it, and it becomes deeper. Become comfortable with the concept. Two things happen. One is you become comfortable with the idea that you can learn, that you can understand. And that in itself is not a small thing, it's a keli. You actually dug a hole, made a keli, in this rock of lack of self-confidence, of being convinced that you'll never be able to learn. You understand it. And each time that you understand it, it imprints in you the subconscious notion, yes I can. Yes I can. I mean, people can tell you that you can from now until the cows come home. It don't help. It only helps when you actually understand, and then again you understand, then again you understand, and you're gaining this self-confidence because, but tachlis, you understood. Okay? That's the first keli that you buy. Without which you won't be able even to listen to what we're learning. By the by, while this is going on, you're also understanding the actual sechel elyon. You're becoming comfortable with the concept. In the beginning, somebody told you, Chochma, Malchus, Chesed, you go, oh man, I can't believe this. Leave me alone. It's only once you hear it again, you hear it in this way, that fashion, that it starts being comfortable, like things in your profession, you don't get scared when somebody tells you, a plus and a minus in Erdung. You don't get scared when somebody tells you, about a camera, but you're comfortable with it. It's a concept that you live in. So both things are true. Both things are keli. And then, as we said before, this is sibuvim. You make, when you want to play the violin, the Beethoven concerto, you have to practice again and again. The scales, the this, the that, and again and again. This is sibuvim. These are the circles. This is the Sarabi Gula. As we said in Divrei Chazal, there is a Maisa in the Yevomas that Bet Shammai Beis Hillel had a machlokes about Tzoros Abbas. We have a din in Yevomas that if the wife of a brother that dies without children, his brother either has to marry her, it's called yibum, or be chaylitz to her, which is basically giving her a kind of a divorce paper. She's tied to him. She's not married to him, but she's tied to him. It's a special kind of marriage which is called yibum. Now, however, if that brother was married, the dead brother was married to the other brothers, let's say, they're both married, and this other brother, they're married to two sisters. Each one is, their wives are sisters, okay? You're not allowed to marry two sisters. The brother dies, okay. So now there is, his sister-in-law is his wife's sister.
But the brother's still alive. Right.
So the Torah says he's pater. She doesn't have to be miyaban or chaylitz. She's free to marry whoever she wishes, because you're not allowed to marry two sisters. So the sister, who was the widow of the dead brother, is pater from Yibum. So Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai had a machlokes. What happens if the dead brother married his brother's daughter?
Yes.
Okay? We also have a principle that a person is not allowed to be married to a mother and a daughter. Right? So the question is, so the avada, the daughter, if the daughter is the almana, is nebuch this, then she's potter. There's no what to talk about. The question is, what if the dead brother was married to two women? One of them is the life brother's daughter, and the other one is just a woman, different woman. Is she chayiv yibun or not? In other words, is the fact that the daughter is connected to the live brother patas that her tzara, the second wife, or not? So the machlok is between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai, if yes or not. So what they did was they came to Rabbi Dosa ben Akinas, and Rabbi Dosa ben Akinas that Chachomim were under the impression that Rabbi Dosa ben Akinas paskened like Beis Shammai. We know that halacha is like Beis Hillel, right? So when they went to him, they didn't want to ask him straight, do you all like Beis Shammai? Because the minute they ask him, like, you all like Beis Shammai, if he says yes, that means that he says that what he paskens is not la halacha. So if you push him, he might be able to say, I actually pasken like Beis Hillel, and say that they are Beis Shammai and give it teretz why this is also good according to Beis Hillel. So they didn't want to quote unquote contaminate Kivyochel his edus. They wanted to know exactly what he thinks. So what did they do? They went to his house. This spoke to him about other halachas, not this. Until they got one thing leads to another, the conversation, and they got to Tzoras Abbas. What's the din? What's the verdict about Tzoras Abbas? What's the halacha? They asked him, what's the halacha? The Rebbe says, Nimtzo, it is therefore found, Shekol halacha shedibru mikoidem, all the halachas that they spoke before, lo hayo ikar hamechuvan. That was not what they really wanted to talk about. Akayu sivuvim v'akdomes, there were preamblums that enabled them to learn from him what they really want to learn from him, to understand, like Gil Tzoras Abbas, which is the Mechuvah, which is the goal of everything. This is what it says in Tikkun Zohar, Sara Ukmo, a black hair. The black hair, they come from Sphere Samalchus. The Malchus is the lowest of the sphere. Is a Sechel Tachton. That's the one that gets the Sechel from the Sechel Elyon, from the upper Sechel. It receives the light of Sphere Sachochma and constricts it, makes it smaller, so it's easier, to bite-sized nuggets, so to speak. That's called black hair. Bivchinas, as it is said, Shchera ani v'nova. I'm black, and Shir Shirim, Song of Songs. I'm black and I'm beautiful.
Really?
Am Yisrael said, I'm black and I'm beautiful.
So the Shas made it.
No. I'm black and I'm beautiful.
I'm black.
Am Yisrael, I'm black in Maisa Egel, but I'm beautiful in Kabbalah Satira. It is one of the most important principles. The person starts it in the first halacha in the Likutei Halachos. I'm black, I'm schmutzed, I'm covered with damages and with scabs and with dirt, but I'm beautiful. Mitzad my neshama, mitzad my nekuda toila. People get very easily convinced that they're worthless because things didn't work out and people got frustrated with me because they had to explain things to me 5 times and didn't have any patience, so they made me feel stupid. And here I go through life feeling stupid. And I'm ashamed to ask, what, I need to embarrass myself? Is it not enough that I'm stupid? I have to embarrass myself? For people to look at me like roll their eyes at me? The same thing when a person does Averis. He looks at things he shouldn't look. He says things he shouldn't say. He does things he shouldn't do. That he gets a feeling that I'm finished. I'm done with it. I'm toast. So you should know that's the principle. Am Yisrael, that is the wisest of all nations. It doesn't. They don't paint a rosy picture. They don't deceive themselves either way. I'm both shchoirani v'nava. Enachinami, I'm covered in black, but nevertheless, mitzad atzmi, from what I really am, what is my essence, I'm beautiful. But the Rebbe teaches here another principle. Shchoirani v'nava is because the shachris, that's the black hole in the eye. It puts together that which you see, the image that you see. It condenses, everything that you see is condensed inside the black dot, the pupil of your eye. The ability to see of a person puts together the image and constricts it, so you'll be able to see it properly. It's a magical mechanism. Actually, you know that the way that the eye is built, the image that you get reflected on the back of the eye is upside down. Your mind turns it upside up. It says, "Ken hasechel hatachton ubchinas shachris." The same way, the lower seichel is that blackness. Shemetzamtzem boy, that it constricts the nava v'yofi shebasechel ha'elyon. It constricts the beauty and the splendor of the higher seichel, the higher intellect. And so that actually enables you to get the supernal seichel, then to understand according to your madrega. We said, you get it according to your madrega. That's pshat vaya or lavana or chama. The light of the moon is equal to the light of the sun. Because in your madrega, that's what you can do. And it leads you in the right way. That's in Achinami, when somebody looks from the side, well, this is the sun, that's the moon. But as far as you're concerned, that's the sun, that's what you can get. So, it is obvious that we are passing very, very quickly over an explanation which is far, far, far too profound for us to understand. Black, straight, it's okay. So the matter is, we don't understand anything in the Likutei Moharan. The one thing that we need to understand, first of all, we need to practice our scales. The scales are, you learn to play the violin, you have to practice style. You sound like cats being tortured, but that's the way you get to play Beethoven. What we learn is over here is this is called Sarah Ukma. Sarah is one mechanism. That's it's circular motion. The intellectual understanding, the intellectual perception, the process of understanding is circular. And you're probably asking, first of all, okay, we understand Bible. Why is it important for me to understand that it's circular? In fact, when you take a look at the Bria, you'll see that everything is circular. You know, the earth and the sun, you know, going around and around, and the whole thing and all this stuff, everything is circular. The whole thing is circular. The reason why everything that happens in nature is circular, because what is actually happening is a process in which the Bria is masig the Kodesh Baruch Hu. That circle of the sun going around the earth, if you prefer the earth going around the sun because your mind is still on this, fine. Look at it that way. They're both just as relevant. They're both just as right. Einstein already explained it. The only thing we know is that there's a movement of one around the other. I mean, you can't tell what is moving around what, because that means that you have to have a certain place in space and decide this doesn't move. Now let's see what else moves. The people that believe that the earth moves around the sun, basically it's based that, the sun is so big, we are so small, so obviously, we go around the sun. But it doesn't really matter. You can call it this way, you can call it that way. What's different is there's a movement one around the other. Okay? All these movements of these circular movements are actually process of learning. The Bria is getting a Sagas Alakus, is preparing a place for the Shekhinah to reside. That's why the year is circular. Every single year you have the same Yom Tov. It's a circle. It's not a line. It's a circle. You have another Rosh Hashanah. You have another Pesach. You have another this. You have another that. And the same thing. So the learning, and not only this, in the Yotzeit, every year the Yotzeit is in the same day. Because in Olam Yisrael, it's everything is circular. The going up, the neshama, the aliyah, as they say, when they give you a little bromfin in shul with some mezainis, it says the neshama is a hub ma'aliyah. As the neshama will have will go up. It'll go up because it finished a circle. The whole year.
Yeah.
The year is a cycle. So once the neshama finished the cycle, there's a whole year passed. We measure it in time. The Ruchnius, there's no such thing as time. It's a saga. The neshama, when the whole circle of time went through, it means the neshama was able, after it passed away, to get a deeper asaga in the Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's why it went up. So that's why in the Yotzeit we said that the neshama is a hubmas aliyah. What happens? Just a cycle of a year went through. But the cycle that's going around is the process of a saga. It's an incredibly sophisticated, abstract, and profound notion that scientists don't get at all. Because you see from the atoms, the electrons run around the atoms. Everything goes in circles. Nobody understands why. Because the whole world is an idea that has a physical dimension. I want to get more into it, but you should know that that's the way it is. Now this is Sarah. This is the union of Saras. It's an intellectual process. That's why the hair is round. Ukma, the blackness. Why is the blackness the thing that is mitzamtzam the image? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. But it does. But it does. So we know Sarah Ukma. A hair, circular motion, which how it works we don't know. Black, the black is mitzamtzam, the beauty of the Nekuda Elyon. It's when you understand the principle, that when we speak about playing the violin and explaining how practicing the scales eventually allows you to play the most sophisticated, if you're talented, the most sophisticated pieces of music, that is a very, very low seichel, a small little seichel, a black kiviyachol, in compared to the understanding of the principle of how it leads you, which is a very, very fine principle, and you should know. Practically all the experts, or that call themselves experts in the market, do not understand the principle. They think that being that they're smart and intelligent and sophisticated, that they know where it's at. They don't have a clue. Why? Because they do not understand what you understand right now. That unless you prepare the kalim faithfully, you practice your scales, your makabel ol mechus shemayim, that the first thing is Yiras Shemayim, then you can have real, true opinions. In other words, opinions that are true, not just that sound good, not just that are persuasive or intelligent, but are true. They don't know that. They're too intelligent. They're too too full of themselves, enjoying, how. Just listen to it. Damn, am I good? Listen to me. This is unbelievable. I just told him one word that totally deflated his entire argument. Was it true? Who cares if it's true? I destroyed him. But they don't get it. You know it. You know it. Dafka through, that is called the blackness. The black is the thing that, why, how, we do not know. Nekuda. But we know that it does. And this is what we need. B'ezrat Hashem, we learn a different aspect of the Saras next time that we're visit here. Obviously, this is a very, very, very deep and hard Torah, so we're going to move slow.